Hi, Susan Elias here. Today I'm going to show you part 2 of a 3-part series that I'm doing, making the bodice sloper from a mannequin in your size. This is the mannequin that I padded. If you want to see that, I'm going to show you the link of that below. And on part 1, I draped the bodice, the front and back of this mannequin in muslin to make my block. I now have it, the muslin on the flat. I'm going to true it, put seam allowance, and test it on the mannequin. And the third part will be actually transferring it to the cardboard to finish your block. Okay, let's get started. Okay, here I am at the table. I want to show you the supplies you're going to need for this project. I have straight ruler, fabric scissors, pencils, marker, the hip curve, the all-important French curve. Very important to have this specific French curve. The muslin underneath, and just to show you, these are the blocks that are going to be what we're going to be accomplishing. Okay, here I am with the muslin. I have the front part of the bodice and I have the back bodice facing each other. This is the center front, this is the center back. The first thing we're going to do with our straight ruler here, as you can see, is I'm going to draw in the side seams from cross mark to cross mark. And I'm going to do that in blue. So I'm going to go here on the back and draw in the line like that. Same thing to the front, from cross mark to cross mark. I'm going to draw a straight line like that. It's a little curved. I don't want to do the curved, I want to just do it straight. So we're going to do the straight line. Okay, very important, we need to put the ease on the side seams of this. So I'm going to go out 1/2 of an inch like this, mark it out like that, and I'm going to draw from there to nothing on the side seams here on the back bodice. Doing the same thing to the front bodice. I'm going to go out 1/2 of an inch. That's the ease. I'm going to draw from that line to the waist, cross mark, 1/2 of an inch, like that. Also, is we need to drop this 1/2 of an inch. So I'm going to take from this cross mark and I'm going to drop it 1/2 of an inch, like that. And that will be the new bottom part of the armhole for the front. Same thing for the back. Just going to drop it 1/2 of an inch. Okay, now I'm going to place this French curve on that new dropped mark, and I'm going to kind of turn it till I'm able to get this cross mark as well. So I'm just going to keep manipulating it and turning, and you see how this dot is pretty much in the same line as the side seam. That's correct. If it's a little bit fuller here, a little bit wider here than these dots, that's okay. But I'm just going to go and try to maneuver it as much as I can to get as close as I can over there. And when I have that, I'm going to draw in my new armhole. There's my new armhole for the front. The back is the same way. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put this on the drop line. I'm going to put it on this mark and this cross mark here as well. Whatever works as close to those 3 marks. And then I'm going to draw in my new armhole for the back. So now we have the important back armhole and front armhole. Okay, after that, I'm going to put in the dart legs to the front. The dart legs are from this cross mark to the actual apex. Remember, this is apex. That's the center point of the bust. I'm going to go from that point and draw that one dart leg, and I'm going to go from this point and draw this dart leg. Now that we have the dropped armhole here on the back, we want to go about 3/4 of an inch below that, where it's going to end. The dart will end for this back dart. Okay, and it's also important to find the center of this dart. So I'm going to measure it over like this. It's about 2 inches. So 1 inch is the center. About a little bit over 1 inch is the center. From there, I'm going to pull a grain. So I'm going to turn this upside down. I showed you how to pull a grain in the other videos. I'll put the link for that as well. I'm just going to hold that straight and go up by pulling a grain. So now I have a straight line of where that back dart is. I'm going to put this back here like that. So now I know where it should end, which is right about here. And that's also the center of the dart. I'm going to put the dart legs in. So let's put the dart legs in for that dart. There we go. Got the 2 dart legs. We've got this bust. We also have a dart here at the shoulder. So from the apex to these cross marks, I'm going to draw the dart legs. So here we go. Here's one. And here's the other side. There you go. Okay, so we're getting there. Now with the necklines, very important that you drop the neckline 1/4 of an inch from the cross mark to give it what we call a special ease. So I'm going to put that cross mark lower 1/4 of an inch. Now take my French curve again, and I'm going to try to follow as many of these dots with that drop line, just like that, and draw in my new neckline. So there's the new neckline here. Okay, the same thing has to happen, well, in the back. So we're going to go down about 1/4 of an inch in the back, like that. And I'm going to take my French curve and follow the dots as much as I can from there to the cross mark, like that. So now we have that as well. Okay, shoulders. I'm going to draw in from this cross mark to this cross mark, and there is my shoulder line for the back. For the front, I'm going to draw in from this cross mark to this cross mark, and then I'm going to draw in from this cross mark to this cross mark. It may need to be changed once we have it pinned together, but we have that. Okay, now the waist. Here we go with the waistline. I'm going to take the hip curve because I don't have that much of a curve going on. And what we're going to do with the front is we're going to actually drop it at the center front 1/4 of an inch. Here, and I like to drop it at the side seams 1/4 of an inch as well. So we're going to go from here to that dart leg and draw a curved line from cross mark to cross mark. We're going to take this at the drop point. Right here's the drop point, and here's the dart leg, and we're going to draw in that side of the waistline. We're going to do the same thing in the back. Actually, in the back, I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch drop at the side seams intersection, and then I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch drop at the center back. Okay, from there, I'm going to draw in as much of a line as I can to this dart, like that, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to draw in from this cross mark to this cross mark, but at the dropped cross mark, the new dropped cross mark, and there you go. So now we have the waist, the armhole. Okay, the very important thing before I start adding seam allowance is making sure that the seams are true, that they will be the same length. So I'm going to take my back, I'm going to fold it under like this, and I'm going to bring it over to the front, and I'm going to test it to see if it's going to be the same length, and it perfectly is. That's great. Then, okay, in order to check this, I'm going to have to close the dart. Okay, here I am with the front bodice, and I'm going to move the dart point further up so it gives it some room for the bust. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the new dart point, which is about 3/4 of an inch inside of that dart here. And I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom dart. Okay, and I'm just drawing the new dart legs like that. Okay, now I'm going to turn back the side that's closest to the center front, and I'm going to let it close with the dart excess going towards the center front. In order to close this dart, the proper way to do that is to take the dart legs, I'm going to go as close as I can, and go pin through all the layers like this and then out, just taking a pinch of the fabric, a very small portion of the fabric. I'm just going to turn that here as well, and I just pinch and then go straight out again. And usually you want to put these pins about 1/2 of an inch apart like that. And I'm going to do that as well here. with my new dart legs, which is inside. And I'm going to go all the way up like that, and I will be back. Okay, here I am. I have the dart on the shoulder pinned in, so it's now starting to curve. And I noticed the line is not straight. And I also noticed that it is not quite as long as it should be. So I'm taking the back to the front from cross mark to cross mark, and I realize that this has to be a little bit longer. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that. I'm going to take my red and my ruler, and I'm going to go ahead from that cross mark to this cross mark, draw the new shoulder line, which is right here, like that. And the shoulder line ends here, so I'm going to fix that armhole and just make it a little bit wider by going to the new cross mark, which is right here. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be my new line here and my new line here. All right, so we're set for the shoulder. Let me go ahead and close the bottom dart and this bottom dart so we can go ahead and true this and finish the seam allowance, and I'll be back. Okay, here I am. I've already pinned all the darts in so that I can true and get a correct seam allowance and line for the waistline and everywhere else. And just to remind you that when you pin this, you have to have the excess of the dart always going towards the center front. This excess is going towards the center front. The back, the excess has to go towards the center back. So that's very important to know. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to put the seam allowance, I'm going to do it in pencil, around so I can trim off the excess. Okay, here I am. Both the front and the back bodice has been pinned, all the darts. The seam allowance has been cut and put in. And now we're going to put the front and the back together on the side seams and the shoulder and test this on the mannequin. Just want to show you again my process on how I pin this. I'm going to turn back the back bodice to meet the front bodice just like that, and I'm going to show you again close up on how I do the pinning. Just going to go through all the layers and out, all the layers and then back out, and I'm going to do that here and on the shoulder, and I'll be right back. Here I am at the mannequin. I put apex to pin first here at the bust level apex. Then I'm going to put pins along the center front to hold it down so we can see this. Okay, and we have some more over here. It's falling nicely on the waistline, the shoulder. I'm going to put pins along the back, center back as well. And let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And I raised it here on the center back because I'm short-waisted, so I didn't want it to be lower. That's something you have to gauge for yourself, whether you need it or not. And here we go. Okay, always important to drop it here at the side seam because it pulls once the garment is put together, but it's fitting nicely. And so now the muslin is good. We can do the third step, which is transferring it to the hard paper or the cardboard and making the block. So thank you for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Check out my website, susanelias.com. Give me a comment, ask me a question because you know I'm going to answer it. Thank you. Bye-bye.